Hello, welcome back to Reading Success Academy. This is our word attack and practice session. What we're going to do today is take a long, maybe unfamiliar word, and we're going to break it down into chunks to make it easier to read and easier to spell. Now, a chunk is part of a word that has one vowel sound in it. So we're looking for those for a good place to just kind of break it up so that we're not trying to take on the whole word all at once. Help us focus on one piece of the word at a time. We're going to be looking for special endings. We'll be looking for groups of letters that work together to make one sound. And then I'm going to show you the process of how to sound through it and then take it just one chunk at a time, then blend all the chunks together. All right, let's take a look at today's word. Now, the very first thing I look for is special endings. I just did a little lesson on that a few minutes ago with my third grade spelling list. And special endings would be like shus, shun, chur, jur, jeune, ja. Those are all special endings because it's a group of letters normally at the end of a word that don't sound out phonetically. Like it doesn't sound out just right. If you were to say shus, but you see the letters are T-I-O-U-S, that's an awful lot of letters there for one, for those three sounds. But two, you may not recognize that the T-I can make a sh sound like an initial, and that O-U can be an sound like in rough and tough. So since there are so many words that have those spellings, it's easier to just be able to recognize that group of letters and just keep an eye out for them. But in this word, I don't see any special endings. I don't see a shun or a jur, chur, anything like that. So my next step is to look for two or more letters that are working together to make one sound. And what I see here is an right here. There are 11 different ways to spell This is the most common one. And then I also see OU. Now, when I see OU in a word, I know that I'd like to try an ow sound first with that. It can also be O, and it can be oo like in you and group. But in a lot of adjectives, when there's an S at the end, this is going to be an sound. We have tons of adjectives that have OUS at the end, like dangerous and courageous and glamorous. So I look for those at the end of the word with that S, and I think, I'm going to try an sound there. So some of this I already have figured out before I've even started sounding the word out. So you want to be like a detective. You want to look for some clues. So special endings are your first clue. Groups of letters that make one sound are your next clue. And then once you think you've found all of those groups of letters, then you want to move to the very beginning of the word and start sounding it out until you think you have a chunk. Now, the letter O has a lot of different sounds. We could try we can try O, we can try oo, we could try all those different sounds. Well, it sounds like a lot, it sounds overwhelming, but you have to start somewhere. So pick a sound, and in this word, it's actually pronounced more like with an sound or an O sound. But if you wanted to try you can, and it can still work out, and I'll show you how that works. So let's go with an sound. And you start at the beginning, and you want to say v, va. That sounds like a chunk. So you want to draw a line in there. And now that we have this first chunk, we're going to start over on this side of the line. We're not going to continue on. We're not going to say vas. We're going to leave va here and start over. S, if, sif. And if you wanted to, you could have just put the line here. There's a couple different ways you can break it up. Remember, it's a chunk. We're not following strict syllable rules here. You're going to break it up, and we're going to try different things until we can get the word worked out. So we know we have sif here. I know this is a s sound because whenever I have E, I, or Y after a C, it's going to be a s sound. All right, so we have vasif, vasif. Now we want to go to our next chunk, which is That's a chunk by itself. So we'll drop a line there, and we'll go back to the beginning and blend that together. Vasifer, vasifer. And we already decided that this is going to be an sound. Us, Us is our last chunk, so now we're blending chunks together. Vociferous. Vociferous. Okay, that doesn't sound like a familiar word. And this word may not even be familiar when I pronounce it the way it actually should be. So what you're going to change to a different vowel sound here. The vowels have more sounds than consonants do, so you always want to try to change a vowel sound first. So maybe you'll try an O sound. Vociferous. Vociferous. Well, when we pronounce this word, it gets a little sloppier. We're going to try an sound. That's super common, especially for the letter A and for the letter O, for it to be an sound. So we'll say vociferous. Vociferous. So some people may pronounce it with more of a long O sound. Vociferous. Great. Some people pronounce it a little bit sloppier with an sound. Vociferous. Either one is just fine, just depends on your dialect or your accent for whatever region you're in. Vociferous. All right, now we need to know how to use this word, because there's no point in learning how to read and spell words if we don't know how to use them properly. So let's come up with our definition here of vociferous. It's broken out into chunks here for you, so when you're studying the spelling of it, you can put eye stoppers in here. It breaks the word up a little bit more so that you can focus on just one chunk of the word at a time. So this is how I would code this word before I tried to study in it. Break it up, and then I'd actually add some more color to this. I would group together the E and the R like this, probably a little bit more neatly. And then I would group together the O and the U, and I might even give that a different shape too. So I know it's a different sound, different shape, different letters going on there. So I know when I'm studying this word that what's going on with this group of letters is very different than what's going on with this group of letters. So I've color coded it a little bit, broken it up, and so now it's easier to see the spelling of each chunk. And so spelling this one on your own will be a lot easier once you've done that. All right, so our definition of vociferous, it's an adjective. You're expressing feelings or opinions in a very loud or forceful way. Really loud. Everybody knows how you feel about it if you are vociferous. The vociferous protesters made it clear that they would not back down until their demands were met. That's a great way to use it in a sentence. And look, I have an extra period in here. Shame on me. Mistakes happen sometimes. All right, my friends, that is today's word of the day. I'm going to be back on I'm going to be back on Tuesday with our next word of the day. I'm going to take a couple days vacation. I will be back and we'll get right back to work with that. And I'll also be doing a second grade spelling lesson then. Hey, if you need some lists of words for practice, or you want to know what all the special endings are, groups of letters make one sound, if you want to know what to look for, some of those clues, I have a couple of great resources for you. You just want to message me hello@readingsuccessacademy.com and I can send those your way. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you know when I go live next, and you can join me for the next lesson. I will see you then. Thanks for joining me. Bye.